Should we say where we more specifically are today?
Yeah. We seem to have found ourselves in what is admittedly a warmer, though slightly stranger location than last time. The plaza is being observed via window, as is the Performing Arts Library.
Yes. Yeah, I think we still would notice if he came in, hopefully.
Yeah, I'd love for him to come in and purchase opera tickets before our eyes, but I really do have some doubts. Yes, listeners, you guessed it. We're sitting in the lobby of the box office portion of the Opera Hall at Lincoln Center, taking refuge from the sub 50 degree temperatures.
Shelter from the storm.
Yeah. Anyway, what's up with you?
Yeah, do we have a topic? Any topics for today?
Well, what's been on your mind?
Well, I thought I could tell the podcast about my canon of canons.
Oh, honestly, so important.
I thought that could be good. Good place to start. My canon of canons, listener / reader, comes from a dream. Sorry, there's a chime happening.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot of chiming
This
happening.
sounds like a Pink Floyd album.
Not sure if you can hear that, but it is alarming, to say the least. Okay, so. Whoa. To return to my canon of canons, this is an item that featured in a dream of mine. I can remember nothing about the dream, except for that I was on a university campus. And as I said to Sammy, I believe it was Yale University. And at the university, there was a large burgundy velvet cannon. And the cannon had some sort of intelligence of its own, some sort of artificial intelligence, insofar as it could read if perhaps you needed to be educated. And on scanning you and, sort of discovering that you needed to be educated, out of the cannon would come a book that could be considered canon, like literary canon, and it would just shoot out at you. And then, you would do what you might and read it and engage in canon.
Do you remember from the dream any particular book that came out of the canon, or do you remember it being shot, or do you just remember the idea?
I just really remember the idea, although I do remember it being active.
Whoa, so you were like perhaps seeing it shoot multiple times from afar at unprepared passersby.
And maybe potentially sort of like comically violent. Like maybe you get sort of ding whacked in the head by Tolstoy's War and Peace.
I can't believe you had a highbrow slapstick dream. Like that's such a crazy category of a dream to be engaging in.
Well, I like my slapstick highbrow.
I would be interested in... Well, would that it were real. Maybe it could be real. If you're in the mood for such a project, please email us. We would love for you to build our burgundy velvet canon of canons. But I would also be interested in, were you to have your own canon of canons, say you were really observing the public, say on our home university, and thinking these people need to be educated.
Yeah.
What do you think you would be shooting at them? Like, what do you feel the people need to be reading? And you feel it so violently that you wish to sort of projectile it their way.
That's a hard question. It's a really good question. I think that all that needs to be shot at the students is Gordon Lish's sort of, I was going to say work, but perhaps just the story about wanting to be amazing.
Oh, Death of Me.
Yeah, Death of Me. I forgot the title too. That could be shot. Obviously I want to shoot Light Years by James Salter out of the canon.
Yeah. I was going to say, or maybe Venus Drive out of the canon, because I do feel like the canon maybe needs to be enforcing the idea upon the people that they need to be a little funny.
Yeah, and also that maybe they could understand beauty more.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that could be really, those could really be the two tenets of our canon, um, beauty and humor.
Beauty and funny.
Yeah.
I actually once started, I believe Clara was the only recipient, a failed newsletter. Failed because I only sent it to Clara and made one copy.
A treatise, if you will.
Exactly. But the newsletter's conceit was that it would just be things I had found beautiful and or funny, and preferably both that week.
Oh my god, you literally had a canon.
It was gonna be my canon.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's sort of like that. Remember you found that magazine that was like 100 great objects or
Oh, yes.
Tell the pod.
Self-service magazine, as you, reader, may be familiar with. I was visiting the home of a man who you pay to visit the home of.
so awesome.
Yeah, a sort of archivist, bookseller who has a lot of magazines, a lot of fashion magazines. And he had, I believe it was a 2002 edition of the still running amazing magazine Self-Service. And I just became completely enamored by the section of the magazine that was just 100 things.
It's one of the best numbers of things you can have, and if all the things are good, it's just like, oh my god.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was simple and perfect.
Wait, I remember you said something when you first saw it about how it was organized.
Maybe by color?
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. I'm not 100%.
One thing I was thinking about recently reorganizing by color is I've hit within myself a site of contradiction, which is that two things about me that are true is that A, I really, especially when making something that is sort of a mix of visible ingredients like a salad, Sascha knows this, do not feel like the dish is done until all of the colors are correct. I feel this way about plating as well. Like there has to be the right color balance or the right color mix, and if there's the wrong color mix or if it's incomplete, like the dish is not complete to me regardless of what's going on the level of the flavor. And I realize this is probably not the best way to go about it, but it is what I do. And the other thing that I was thinking about recently is that the other thing that is true is that I used to have a lot of roommates. I lived in a house with a lot of roommates, and one of them was sort of evil. And she was very controlling in a lot of, or she attempted to be very controlling in a lot of ways. And one of them was that she really wanted to color code the fridge. She didn't want to people to be able to organize their items by having their own section. She wanted everybody's items to be in rainbow order.
That's
so like
crazy.
Strawberries in the top left corner and grapes in the bottom right. And no fruit in the fruit drawer, like
That's
nothing
kind
like
of
that.
the best idea she's ever had.
I know.
I know it's not a good idea, probably, but it's...
Well, in retrospect, I'm like...
I kind of fuck with it.
Yeah, in retrospect, I'm like, wait, if I saw a picture of a fridge that was organized that way, I would be like, wow, like, thank God for the human race, you know? But because it was her, and because of everything else that was going in the house, and because I felt not entirely sure that the sanctity of my objects would be respected, were they not delineated as being in my section.
That's for sure a concern, a valid concern.
Oh, thank you. I feel really cared for, and I feel really safe in this operatic space.
Yeah, I'm here in this operatic space to validate your concerns.
What was that? Where were we? I think we were in Los Angeles, and you were talking about, what was the word you said you hated so much? Maybe trauma?
Oh, trauma's really difficult.
It's really bad.
Trauma's just really hard for me to get through. Like, as in to get through listening to someone say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's something that happens between the first syllable and the second syllable where you're like, maybe they'll say something else, and they don't.
Like perhaps tramadol.
I was gonna
could be
say
good.
tradition.
Truck driver.
Yeah, like all of those I think would be so, like, can you imagine if like someone was like, yeah, I just like took a moment to really process my tradition. Like, wouldn't you be so much more excited if that was how the sentence ended?
Yeah. I mean, even like the wrongdoings done against me is better. Or the maladies which previously befell.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I guess these aren't very succinct. My pain.
My pain's pretty good.
My pain's fine.
What about even if someone was like, oh, the struggles with my dignity?
That would be really good. My struggle is also good.
Yeah, we have to ask Carl about that, though. He's sort of the expert. He wrote many volumes.
Totally. You
Yeah.
know, if that book was called Trauma, 0 copies sold.
0 copies sold. Though he would be able to do it so funny.
It's true. And his face, and it's called Trauma. It would be kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome to a new segment of our podcast in which, knowing that so many of you are seeking advice on how to sort of get your money up, we'll be telling you about the stocks that we're currently investing in and why. Sasha, would you like to begin?
Well, sorry, if you were hearing some typing in the background, that's because I was typing into my laptop, is Masa potato chips public? By which I did mean Masa non-potato chips. They are tortilla chips. At first I told Sammy that I was considering investing in the Clean Dough Cookie Dough Company, which I could tell you, but I think that would be a lie because they're a very new company and I don't think they're public. But if Masa Chip Company is public, I think you should invest there. If not, I would consider investing in your future by getting a lot of sleep at night and prioritizing feeling shame.
Thank you. That's really insightful. I've decided just now, as you were speaking, that I thought I had a broader investment goal, but it is narrowed. My investment goal is to markedly increase the GDP of the Asian nation of Bangladesh. I'm doing this by purchasing egregious quantities of different prepared foods and raw spices from the Bangladeshi grocery store across the street from my apartment.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be a plug for Alive Herbals too.
Well, you have to understand it's really right now the only way for me to be meeting my investment goals of increasing the GDP of the Asian nation of Bangladesh. Bangladesh, if you are listening to this, please email me and let me know what else I can do for your GDP.
I do have one other thing to say. Thank you, Sammy, on behalf of the country of Bangladesh. But my one other thing to say, which really is advice and is also a sales pitch that I've given before, the price of gold is at an all-time high, and you might want to continue buying a Chanel bag, which is vintage from the 90s or early 2000s when they still plated the hardware with 24 karat gold. Because not only is that going to be a sort of timeless accessory, it is going to appreciate in value. So that's real talk for you.
Thank you for listening to our investment segment. Tune in next time for even more sound financial advising.
Yep.
For Reader, we'd like to build on some themes, which is that, I mean, they are of cultural and, Sasha was saying,
Pod cultural.
yeah, culture of this podcast note, which is that I had the opportunity for one of my best, most loveliest friends' 24th birthdays to see the Bill and Ted Waiting for Godot, starring Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters. And Sascha had,
I went to go see Bugonia.
which, we discussed a little bit in our last episode. I feel like you should go first because I'm so curious.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where to begin with Bugonia? I mean, I will start by saying that once again, in a small part, as he did in The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Yorgos has cast Alicia Silverstone of Clueless fame, as a main character's mother.
Wait, which one is she in Clueless?
She's Cher.
Oh, whoa.
Yes. And in The Killing of a Sacred Deer, she is cast as the really freaky boy's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Bugonia, she is cast as the really freaky man, hashtag not all dirty men, his mom.
Whoa.
And the images of Alicia Silverstone as Jesse Plemons' character's mom, she is sick. I won't say how or in what way. Although maybe she's a... I'm going to spoil. Watch Bugonia if you haven't before you listen to this. Then come back. She is in, drug withdrawal, comatose after an experimental treatment from Emma Stone's company to try to help her opioid addiction. After the experimental treatment has not worked, it has put her in a coma. And there are images of her. One in which she's sort of, if I remember correctly, floating in the sky balloon style, and he's holding on to her, trying to pull her down. And another where she's in the bathtub, and there are maybe 400 sort of large-scale needles in her, and her body is raised as if sort of arching towards the sun. And they're in black and white, as opposed to the rest of the movie being in color. And they are, I think, some of the most beautiful and disturbing images of sickness that I have ever seen in my life.
They sound horrifying, but
They're
so
horrifying.
inventive.
They're horrifying and so inventive. And so I was thinking a lot about Yorgos' photography. There's an amazing, that maybe we can link in our description, series that he did of Margaret Qualley. Yeah, you should see his photos. Anyway, I was thinking a lot about his photos, as with the sort of end montage of Bugonia 2, where, spoiler alert, the aliens, which Emma Stone has being accused of being and turns out to be, have taken over and decided they're going to wipe out all the humans once again. Because in the sort of story of the story, they've done it before a long, long time ago. And there's a montage to, I forget which song, but also upbeat, of humans just being dead immediately in various circumstances. So they're dead, but dogs are still barking. They're dead, but blood is still pumping in a surgery room. They're dead, but tennis balls are still rolling around the court. In all of these images, there's movement that is non-human, but that has clearly been recently caused by humans. Objects
That's
are
so
still in
disturbing.
motion that were set in motion by humans, but the humans themselves are paused. Yeah.
Wow, that is so scary. I also think that being the ending is really interesting in relation to the trailer, because you're trained by the trailer and by our sort of cultural attitude towards maybe more right-wing or left-wing, either conspiracy, to believe that the whole movie is about Jesse Plemons being insane.
Yes. And what I think is the great thing about the movie is that Jesse Plemons is insane. It is revealed that he's been cutting up other people, trying to see if they're aliens, that he is truly a conspiracy theorist, and a very violent one at that.
And he happens to be right.
And he also is right.
Wow.
And that to me, where I was Yorgos got it out locked. like, like the conspiracies are true, but then also everyone coming up with them is crazy. Not everyone, obviously,
Yeah,
and not all
totally.
conspiracy.
Hashtag not all conspiracy. Hashtag,
Hashtag
not all dirty man.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was amazing that she was an alien because I think it would have been a cop out if not. I think somehow it would have been shying away from what the movie is proposing. But Emma Stone does such an amazing actorly job. Everyone does a very amazing actorly job. Jesse too, and the third actor who I described to you in a rather crass way, but who I loved and who's brilliant, who plays the character Dawn. But you go back and forth when you're watching the movie. You're like, she's an alien, she's not an alien, she's an alien. And only at the very end is it revealed that she certainly is.
Does she do a good, and I don't really know, like, obviously I haven't seen it, I don't know what it means visually for her to be an alien, but I'm really interested in how she acts that transformation, or like the revealing of her alienhood. Like, is Emma Stone a good alien is sort of my question.
Well, I'm going to say something, and I mean this with the highest sort of degree of complimentariness, and I love people who look like aliens, and I think that my life has proved that. You've seen her face.
Yeah, she's already partway there. No, you're right, and she's already partway there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's just brilliantly good. I think that she does like evil tech empress as alien just all too well.
It's so good when someone's already good for a role. I mean, I appreciate that she is both like, that she does everything. She's both amazing and totally of the people. Like Easy A. Did you see Easy A?
I love Easy A.
I love Easy A too.
No, she has real and proper range.
Yeah, and like most people I know love Easy A, and she is so content. And I also think sometimes in her, or at least when she was younger, in her public face, to be like a girl,
Yeah.
to be like, to like wear jeans and like lounge about and whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's so serious, and it's like, I just love that she has both.
Definitely. I am also interested if anyone really doesn't love Easy A and wanted to write to us about why you don't, and perhaps you want to know us as well. That could be interesting. We could know some people that don't love Easy A.
And I would say that, and I hate to make promises that maybe we can't keep, but if you promise and deliver on being both beautiful and funny in your critique of Easy A, we could read a little bit of it on the podcast. Audience reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing. I mean, it sounds like an amazing movie and really disturbing. And I would imagine then, and this is another spoiler, but I'm curious, Jesse Plemons doesn't survive either? Doesn't survive this sort of human scraping?
Jesse dies prior to that.
Whoa.
Only a few minutes before.
Mm-hmm.
But no one gets out alive except Emma Stone and the other aliens.
Yeah, totally. And are the other aliens, is she the only one posing as a person?
She is the Grand Empress.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's what we were just saying. No?
Yes. And it seems like she's the only one sent down to Earth, and the other aliens are hugely blob-like, and they sort of look like they're dressed in sort of hybrid of Issey Miyake pleats and also Comme des Garçons, like lumps and bumps runway show. That's kind of the vibe, although more colorful, and maybe also there are turbans.
Whoa.
But I don't recall.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, I'm interested in, he's so visual and he's so strange. Like, I would be interested in what his imagination regarding aliens would be. Like, that is something
Yes.
I would
It's
be curious
bizarre.
about. Yeah.
It's, I would say, much more like colorful and playful, yet also quite techno-futurist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a strange hybrid.
Well, I also think that like anything about like what you were saying, the upbeat music and maybe the playfulness of the outfits and all that like sort of visual levity in the face of such extreme horror is like, it's deeply disturbing. It's really effective.
Definitely. Although, I don't know if the alien imagery was disturbing to me so much as just the sort of humans have failed anti-human sentiment, not of the movie, but of the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
That was what was really disturbing to me.
It's also interesting because I don't know if you remember this, but very recently we learned about a sort of theology of the Aztec people, in which the conceit was, or like sort of their worldview was that humans had been on Earth, I think 4 times before, and there had been 4 previous worlds, and the humans, due to selfishness and like sort of wrongdoing and moderation, was greatly prized in Aztec society, like not engaging in the appropriate moderation and self-control had like ruined the world and angered the gods also or the powers that be, by not providing appropriate sacrifices, and this caused them to destroy the world and
And then remake it.
Yeah,
Restart.
and then remake it, which is like sort of the theology that's being played with here.
Definitely it is.
Yeah.
I will also say that something that was particularly disturbing too, which Emma Stone's character of Alien Empress relays to Jesse Plemons, is that her sort of tech company, or her health tech company, was trying to save people with opioid problem, with like drug addiction, via new inventive alien sponsored treatment and drugs, but that the fact of its failure was further emphasis that like they couldn't save humans. There was some idea that or what she says basically is, your mother is one of the weakest people. Like, it's just this horrible sort of rhetoric that she's espousing. She's like, your mother is of the weakest sect, and we thought if we could help even the weakest, maybe humans have a chance. But then she goes, but no, you're all too weak, you're all too selfish, you're all
Wow.
too far gone.
Do you think the movie has an opinion or a thesis about, I don't know, broad term, but the human condition? Do you think the movie is, in sort of maybe the way that I talked about One Battle After Another, do you think it is an answer at all to our contemporary world?
I don't think it's, perhaps similarly to One Battle After Another, although I would say it's darker even.
Of course.
It's kind of posing no one's really got the, like, obviously an anti-human response is not the response. And perhaps you could read the aliens as, some AI metaphor, which I don't think is
Right.
hugely the intention, but is obviously there for the taking. Yeah, I don't know that there's a clear thesis.
Totally. And I mean, there doesn't have to be. I was just curious if, like...
I would say oftentimes, for me at least, it's kind of better when there isn't. Or I prefer a movie that is just sort of stirring it all up. And you're like, it's like life, but it's not. It's disturbing and unsettling this. It's tapping into this. It's bringing up this. And then the images. But I don't want, a movie isn't an essay.
Yeah, you don't
Or a
feel
piece
like...
of theory.
You don't feel like you are seeking an argument.
No. I don't think so. I think I would be sad if I felt I saw a movie and I could really tell you what it was about. Do you want to talk about Waiting for Godot? Because I'm worried that we have to leave soon.
And that could be true. I would love to talk about Waiting for Godot. So, I, at least, hearing the conceit of this particular Waiting for Godot, my friend was really excited because also one of the amazing things about my amazing friend is that she went to go get her either MA or MPhil in Irish writing at Trinity College Dublin, with all her many brilliances acquired from birth and also at her time in the university, and she really excelled there and wrote beautifully, but she spent a lot of time thinking about Beckett. So the Godot was really important to her, and she was excited about the conceit.
She'd been waiting for that Godot for a while.
Yeah, exactly. But I felt like the sort of cultural reference of it being Bill and Ted was maybe not well matched to Beckett, or just uninteresting to me. Like, it felt a little gimmicky, which is why. And also, Sascha, you were saying it got bad reviews.
The reviews in question were Keith McNally's Instagram post. The review that I saw was Keith McNally's Instagram post.
Well,
and he said, boo!
As we'll talk about on another pod, Keith McNally is maybe not the artistic authority.
You can't malign him like this when we love Balthazar so much.
I know. And I really do think he's an amazing restaurateur, but...
Hey, restaurateur.
Restaurateur, of course, as I learned from reading the novel. But I did read his memoir, and well, that's a topic for another time. But despite Sascha telling me there were bad reviews and me not being interested in the conceit, you have to understand I thought it was really good. And I'm going to tell you the reasons that I thought it was really good.
Yes.
First of all, they only made reference to their Bill and Tededness once. Would I prefer it be zero? Yes. But I was glad they didn't harp on. Second, I thought that the boy, well, I suppose he's a man, Alex Winters, who played Estragon. No, Vladimir. Whichever one is supposed to be smarter and more put together, I'm going to get them mixed up, was Alex Winters. And I felt that he, especially at the end, did a very good job kind of getting into the despondence of the play. When I first read the play in high school, I sort of got nothing from it. Like, I felt like I was not inspired by it being an exercise in ridiculous. Like, I've never been hugely interested in art, like, making the point that it's saying nothing. Like, I'm not an Andy Warhol person, like, any of that kind of art has always felt to me a little mean-spirited and maybe a little juvenile. Not that that is what I think of Beckett as a whole, but that was sort of my impression of Waiting for Godot. But in seeing it acted, and acted well, I found it to be rich with meaning, and I found it to be genuinely funny. And I found Keanu Reeves and this boy Alex Winters together to be to have sort of a good grasp of the kind of physical comedy that is well suited to this show, which is sort of stilted and very clearly acting. Like, they were like this a lot. I'm sorry, I'm doing sort of jerky movements for Sascha.
Does he look boyish, Alex Winter?
They're both boys in that play.
Oh.
Not on a literal level, but the conceit is that they have sort of been doing the same thing every day for 50 years, and they haven't achieved much, they haven't grown much or anything. And so to me, those characters are quite boyish in some ways, and I think that is reinforced by the physicality of the way that Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters played them. And I thought that was a really good choice. I also, as I was telling Sascha, was really, really into the set and the lights, which is something which I'm definitely interested, but is often not the focus of my attention. But it was the first time I had seen set and lighting that felt both assertively modern or contemporary. It was definitely new and of our time, but didn't feel, but was like good actually. Like there were no projections or anything like that. It was really simple shapes, really simple colors, really simple music, but all of it effective and hugely in service of like what was being done on stage and of legitimate visual interest. They sort of had them playing in a funnel, like a sideways funnel. If you picture a funnel laid down on the counter.
Okay.
That was like the shape. There was like a ring in the middle of the stage, and that was what they were mostly in. And they could hop off the funnel, but like all of the lighting was focused in the funnel, and it was just made of plain, like high quality sort of pressed plywood.
Interesting.
But it gave it this weird, warped, timeless sense that I felt was really appropriate to the play, and allowed very like simple. There was also kind of a cover that could descend over the funnel, kind of blacking it out, like an eye opening or closing, which I really, really liked, and I thought just worked really well with the rest of the play. Obviously, it's been a while since I've read the script. They definitely made some edits. Like there were moments of modernity, but I felt that they were okay and not like hugely crazy kitschy.
How do you have a sense of when it was supposed to be set?
Well, I kind of think like they like briefly made fun of yoga, so it's like semi-contemporary. I didn't think it was great. Like it wasn't downstate. Nothing's downstate. But I did think that I think they both did a good job and did something new. And I think that's really hard to do with a text that's
Definitely
rehashed and rehashed and rehashed, and it's so often done poorly. Like that weird Apple TV Othello or Macbeth or something where Frances McDormand was a contortionist.
Oh no, that is wrong. Frances McDormand was Lady Macbeth, and the great actress, her first name's Catherine, I'm forgetting her last name, was the witches, all
Okay.
of the witches,
Yes,
and she
it's
was
that one.
doing the contortion.
Okay, well, as you know, I don't know anybody's name. But that was like kind of bad.
I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily popular opinion. I don't know.
I don't know. I felt like it was like too focused on the particular way in which it was contemporary. Like, I feel like that's
Interesting.
one of the ways in which it was like not that good. I thought it was pretty bad too. I saw it with my parents. And this didn't have that sense. It just kind of was where it was. And it was still waiting for Godot. What Christiana said, which was really interesting, her being much more of a scholar of this than I am, is she also thought it was fabulous. And she said that there was a directorial choice that was made that was very bold, that Beckett would not have allowed had he been seeing this production, which is that there's always, per sort of our engagement with it, there's always a boot on the stage. And there's always a tree. There's always a tree on stage because there's a lot of sitting and talking about whether the tree is the same as yesterday, or whether it's not, or whether it's even really there, or whether they should hang themselves on it. And the tree was theoretical in this production. They pointed towards the audience and they were like, look at the tree.
Interesting.
Also, Keanu Reeves was pantsless for 3 minutes, and he was in briefs, and then he had to hold his own pants up during curtain call, and I felt a little bad for him about that. I thought he was being a really good sport.
I like how you say hold his own pants up as if perhaps there should have been someone else assigned to hold his pants up.
I think that when you're Keanu Reeves, you could get someone to hold your pants up for you, but he did it himself like a good sport.
Wow.
I know.
And how long was it?
I don't know. I guess that's a good sign. Probably. It wasn't hugely long because it started at 7 and we were downtown at the Bad Sticky Bar by like 9:30.
And would you say your attention was engaged the whole time?
I would. The one thing that I would say I disagreed with Christiana on is there was, I forget everybody's name, but there's the sort of like slave master and the slave, like those are two big characters.
Okay.
And they're done a little bit strangely in this production. Like the way that it sort of works is it's like the slave master is a man pushing a guy in a wheelchair who he makes carry all of his bags. And then that's sort of the quote slave. And they have names. I think it's Ponzo or something like that is the name of the slave master. And Christiana thought he was really amazing, and I didn't think he was so good. I just thought he was so clearly like acting, and I was a little bit averse to that in his character particularly, though he was very convincingly crazy, like mad, and that I think is a very important aspect of it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Have you read it?
No.
Do you know, like, I mean, it's just because it didn't happen in school, but do you have, like, a passing interest in Beckett that just has yet to be indulged, or, like...
I've read a little Beckett.
Okay.
I've read a short story, which I loved, called First Love, I believe.
Oh, cool.
And then I was told that I really need to read Murphy, favorite novel of friend of the pod, John Tottenham.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's his favorite novel. Did he say why?
Oh, and I've read Happy Days, the play.
That's the one that Christiana wants me to watch.
Yeah.
She said Happy Days is amazing, and that there's a really good bootleg somewhere starring a really good lady.
Oh. Maybe gotta watch that. I only read it, but
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Do you know why John said it was his favorite novel? The novel.
No, you're not really asking why with John. Also, I fear that we need to go.
I fear we need to go too. Do you have any parting thoughts for the pod?
I feel sad that we have to depart.
So abruptly.
I'm amazed by Pod, I'll tell you. I'm amazed by how easeful. Honestly, I feel like we were less of an interruption than we were outside.
I know.
It has been recording here in the opera sort of anteroom.
I've felt thoroughly invisible in a way that's really comforting. The characters that are passing through are of equal interest, though we haven't had time to comment on them today, but trust this is a good place to sit and watch.
In the winter, I think we might have to be here.
Yeah, and we kept an eye on the library to some extent.
Yeah, although he could have walked in and we could have missed it.
I guess that's sort of a la Waiting for Godot. All these characters appear on stage and you think, is this Godot? And then it's not. It's just a tiny child in white Air Jordans.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I like my tiny children.
You can email us at waitingforeisenberg@gmail.com. So long.